Before we get started, please take the time to like, add, and subscribe to our pages on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and iTunes. Also, please leave us a review. We can wander our way over, because this is Wandering Ways.
What's Bigfoot possibility?
Clink.
Wink. What's up, everybody? It is another wonderful day with the Wandering Ways crew. It is yours truly, Reverend Mark, and with me, as per usual, it is the Ranger of Zach, Ranger Zach. How we doing?
Oh, I'm doing good today. As they say, because it's I got to talk to Matt Buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I did get to talk to Matt Buddy though. Not kidding about that. Always a good chat, always a good conversation. Talking about things upcoming. We're looking forward here. July, end of July, beginning of August. The paddle to Muckleshoot this year. All the canoe tribes in the Northwest are going to be paddling to Muckleshoot. They pick a destination, they pick a tribe in the Northwest, and they paddle to them every year in the traditional canoes. And me and Matt Buddy are kind of talking about planning and going out there, maybe staying the night or two in Mount Rainier, doing a hike maybe to a mountain meadow in Rainier sometime in August, like early August, end of July there. So kind of getting excited about that. Going to go probably fishing with Jared this weekend, and just got some good old fun Montana Northwest outdoor stuff planned for the next couple months. You know what I mean?
There you go. The Rainier stuff would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well,
Especially August. I think August would be a decent time to do it.
I think you'll get blue skies and those wildflowers is kind of
Yeah.
is what I'm hoping for. And talking to Matt about it because he wanted to do St. Helens as well. And I was sitting there and I was like, you know what, Matt? Like, let's do a hike in Rainier. Let's find ourselves like a 4-mile hike, something to like get up there, go see a meadow, go see a kind of something worth doing. You know what I mean?
Nice. Is he on board with that?
Oh yeah, he was like, hell yeah. Like he was like, I'm okay with skipping Helens. And I was like, yeah, let's just focus on that. Cause I'm like, I'll just meet you in Seattle for the canoe journey, and then we'll drop down to like a Rainier, and figure it out that way. Just see what we got going. It should be fun. Should be
Nice.
exciting. I'll definitely stay tuned to the socials if you're not already.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, hopefully everyone's following that's listening along. But no, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. I don't have anything too exciting. I have my triathlon race this weekend.
Yeah, are you
So
excited for that?
yeah, it should be interesting. I don't think I'll perform as well if I'm being honest. And I say that because I was looking at the course and it
Yeah.
doesn't really play into my strengths. I'm a big biker and I love hills on a bike. This is a short bike, flat, so
Okay.
it doesn't play into my strengths.
So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to test yourself. Are you where is this taking place, I guess? Where is this being happening?
It's kind of up near like Forest Grove, Gaston area.
Oh, okay. It'll be a
Yeah.
good time. Good time.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I'm just going up racing and popping back down. Be
Yeah.
quickie.
Yeah, hopefully you win something.
Hey, if you
Participation
had
ribbon.
fun, you won. So,
Exactly.
that's
Exactly.
that's what it comes down to end of the day. But no, we're not here to talk weekend plans. No, we are here to continue the talk of Iceland because we thought it was pretty cool and we want to give as much tips as we think we can give for your possible trip to go to Iceland. But
Right.
today we're talking national parks. There's the three of them. We're gonna kind of break them down because we didn't spend a whole lot of time, but we spent some time in each, and we think we can give you some tips on how to maneuver them uh, as we did, or probably better. Um,
Right.
yeah, but talking national parks of Iceland, first one, Thing Valier.
And we're probably butchering the hell out of these names, so
Yeah.
just take that into consideration. But Thingvalier, that's how it looks like spelled to us. I'm sure if we started talking like that, people would recognize what we're saying, so we're communicating. You're communicating what we want to say, so good on us. And I, I wish we would have had more time there, just based on kind of how we got going and just kind of what we did, like that time was spent sleeping, but it was much needed to get us going for that trip. But it's like if we would have had that time in that park, I think we would have fully got what we wanted out of that park. Because I think there's some hikes and stuff and some other things around there to get kind of out into the park versus kind of just like the visitor center and the basic things that we did do. But those were also great. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think the thermal area over there would have been cool
Right.
had we gone there. I mean, the main where the visitor center is, like that area right there, is definitely going to be the most crowded. But you can
Right.
see a lot kind of in that. There's a solid waterfall.
Right.
There's a really cool kind of like pathway cliff thing that you first pop down in, which is super cool. There's a church,
Right.
great views. I mean, then you get the two platonic tectonic plates,
Right.
so there's a lot in just that one little area too that you can see.
Well, and like the water where the tectonic plates are so blue, which I really kind of liked. It looked like that fake blue aquarium blue that you're just like, what the heck? And then you have, like you're saying, the waterfall with that water so clear, super fucking clear. The biggest lake in Iceland is that lake that we were overlooking and you were seeing there, which I would be totally about maybe getting out on it. If we had more time there, you could scuba dive by the tectonic plates in the lake as well, which I think kind of cool. The camping too, I think the fact that we were kind of the way we camped in the state was also a plus to this park.
Yeah, I mean you're in it, and we talked about this before. And the camping is so kind of easy in Iceland, so it's kind of really sweet. It's just like, hey,
Right.
we got a spot, and it's like, all right, cool here.
It well, that one, what was interesting there, I thought, was the fact that like we there was more cars obviously when we left at like what 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night,
I
something like
can't
that.
remember.
Uh,
Yeah, I can't remember the time.
Heck, it might have been even closer to like five or six, but more cars were pulling in. I would have been interested to see that in the morning, early in the morning, to see how many vans and stuff and pulled into there, because when we pulled in late to the one by the Blue Lagoon that we camped at, that one had a lot of people and a lot of spots in it, and that kind of didn't worry me, but like you you think because where Thingvellir is at, you would get that.
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean, and I would be curious too, what it would look like if it is like that one by the Blue Lagoon. Because I mean that one, and I mean we still got a spot, so
Right.
it was just we almost didn't. I think there was like four spots left when we got there.
Right. And I mean, they're even parking people up on like that hill, like
Yeah,
like that, like weird, like roundabout hill. And
yeah,
yeah, I mean, they'll find a spot, is what it looked like. It's not like they like our parks in the sense where you get a table either, though. It's like you get a table, a fire pit, kind of like an area. No, it's just that open grass field and you make do. But I mean, it's more convenient for that van life that you are seeing there. Cause there were tent campers, but in reality, man, there were probably like 5% of the campers were tent campers.
yeah. No, 100% there. It is definitely set up for the van kind of life, because it's just pull up, hang out behind your van or in your van right there. It's not not the spread out that you get at the
Well, and
national
then
parks here.
the shared facilities. I mean, very similar to kind of what you do get at the national parks here, I think, especially when you get into the campgrounds that offer showers and kind of
Mhm.
those services, because it's very similar in that sense to kind of what was offered. More minimal though. It was one shower or one toilet at a lot of these. So like I didn't shower at that one busy one because like it was busy, but in the park, like I didn't use that one, but I'm sure that one was probably nicer.
Yeah, no, for sure. I bet it was. Um, but no, Thingvellir, that's a good little park. Um, I definitely think it's worth a couple days, checking out that one main area and then the
Right.
thermal kind of just around that lake. Um,
Well, because I think that side's technically part of the Golden Circle, right?
yeah, I think that is all kind of,
Right.
which
And
is why you get a lot of people in this park too.
exactly. Well, and its proximity to Reykjavik and that whole area and just the congestionness. Because like when we got out of it, it was really cool, but there's still a lot. Like there was even a 4x4 trail, the F road in the park that we could have done. Like we didn't have a 4x4 vehicle. There's some of that, and I think when you look at like this park and then the Vatnajökull Glacier Park National Park that we also went to, like they to me seem like they also go interior into Iceland, and that's something that I think the parks I liked about like this park. I think we would have got a kind of an interesting experience of the interior if we would have gone down like an F road up north.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, my bad. No. No, I 100% think so. I think especially what's the glacier one, the Volt.
That Vatnajökull.
Yeah, Vatnajökull National Park. I think that one especially, if you got in behind, like on the F roads, kind of interior Iceland, I
Almost
bet
like you
that area is really cool.
like if you took the roads from Stugali that way, those dirt roads towards the park.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting because like in reality, like when you think of how big this place is, it's not huge. I mean, it's big, but it's not like huge in the sense of like, no, if you were to cut that way, you're cutting miles off because you're not going around all those fingers of the like the island and the harbors and the bay, which
Yeah.
really wasn't like, the day drive, kind of how you do it, spread it out, see things. So I'm sure there's a lot to see. That's something, and then you can get on the glacier, hike, get up on top of it, go to the
I
ice
know, I
cave.
was just thinking in my head, could you imagine getting helicoptered in, like into that area of the uh Votatnagajukul National Park, like way up there?
The Bear Grylls does it with Rob Riddle.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, and they on his like Disney Channel with Bear Grylls kind of series. Um it's it's a good one because I was like, God, that just looks kind of fun. Like it looks like a lot of fun that these guys are going on in Iceland. And then I don't know, now that like we've gone, I keep looking back at like the more to do, and these parks I think have a lot of that because like even Snansfellsjökull, the peninsula, the park out on the peninsula that we went to that had like the lighthouses, the Arctic fox, all the cool stuff we saw there. Like I feel like we just, again, I mean, we say this about the trip the whole time, we just scratched the surface, but like to get in, like, because they even had some F roads to go up above, to those glaciers and to those areas, and just to kind of experience that. I mean, those that because that area kind of got West Fjordy feeling. It wasn't quite like the West Fjords, but it had like its own kind of uniqueness, that peninsula, while we were out there. Because you could tell when we came back, and that was the town we stayed at, and I lost my wedding ring. Uh, like that area was more grasslandy, farmy kind of land, where these peninsulas were volcano-y still, and that kind of just the terrain was just unique.
Yeah, it was. That's very true. Yeah, I think the peninsula, um, like that one, I mean, we saw so much there, but yet you still feel like you didn't really see a whole lot of
Well,
it.
that one is in particular too, because it was so early on in the trip that I think
Uh-huh.
there were things there we probably could have done or wanted to do that we just didn't think of because it was so early on. You know what I mean? Like that one town, remember that we were going to go stop at that one visitor center, but it was closed already. Like
Mhm.
I'm sure there was, because that was the evening time, it was later in the day. Um, Stuff over there would have been more feasible of like, finding stuff to do, kind of like I think we could have done more because we had a lot of time in that town that we're like, oh, let's try and get to this town where we're going to camp tonight. Uh,
Yeah.
and I think like there's some stuff that kind of that park had that is like, oh, that's where we could have done a hike or gone to like, spent some more time in the park itself, not knowing what we had ahead. We didn't really have that pace or that groove quite going yet.
No, that's true. We didn't at this point definitely did not have the groove wasn't clicking yet, but no, I mean it still, it had a lot to still have. Like you can see the coast, you can get
Right.
the lava, ton of lava stuff,
Right. It's
lighthouses,
the Seal
so
Beach.
seabirds, Seal Beach, yeah.
Um,
Um, that's where the gorge thing we went up technically is.
right. Yeah,
Um,
that's what I mean. Like that gorge was there. And I want to say there's like one of those big waterfalls over there that like where you see the red bands in the pictures. I think that's over there. Or but it's like you got to get to it. I could be
oh
wrong.
yeah, yeah. I don't think so, but that's only if I'm thinking of the one that I think I'm thinking of.
You might be there, but like there was more, like you could tell if that gorge is over there, what else was in that area. The weather was
No, and the
also
mountain itself, like, is kind of sneaky big because, like, when you're there, I was like, oh, it's kind of. But when we were on the West Fords looking at it, I was like, God damn, that's actually a pretty decent sized mountain.
well, because it kind of when we were in that town too, because the more and more we started pull away from the boat, like that like you're saying, right? Like we were able to actually see that because the sky, the clouds kind of cleared out. And that was the other thing kind of with that park that for me that sucked was we didn't really have good weather the entire time we were there.
No.
So it was kind of like, let's get to the car, we're cold, let's go sit down for a little bit, go on to the next thing, get out, do it. All right, let's get to the car. It wasn't like, oh, we're getting rained on, like
Yeah.
when we got to like those, like especially the day after Husavik, like that weather was so nice that it was just like everything continued to roll and just kind of be like nice, so that may have played a factor. But like then we went to like that crater, like that Saxholar crater, and that was wild too on the park, that view and that kind of experience. Like I looked at like the pictures, and really the only pictures that do justice for that one for me in my mind is the stairs, because you can really just see kind of like what you went up and down, but like what that like just I don't know, it's cool.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. And I bet the stairs actually does because it puts perspective into it.
Right.
Because now you can picture how big stairs are. And
Exactly.
so you kind of get more of the idea of how the whole of what you went up and down. But
Right.
that crater was super cool. There, I wonder, because we went around the peninsula. I wonder if we would have got a bigger, more mountain feel if we did the cut across.
Right. Because that is kind of, it's advertised as a mountain pass with the signs, you know what I mean? Like you see the
Yeah,
like tune into this AM to get weather reports,
yeah,
like
yeah.
the same things that we see. in our mountain passes. So yeah, no, you're definitely had the lights, the warning. I'm sure of it. Because when we were sitting in the ferry town, the harbor town, looking back up at the mountains and whatnot, like that was really like you got a feel for them there. Like you could almost tell like that other side you were kind of like more up on the like up higher on the mountains maybe. Because when you were on the coast, like the harbor side that we were on, like they really just bulged out of the mountain, out of the ground.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like that mountain in that area is sneaky tall. Because when you're there in the actual area of the mountain, like you don't really
Right.
notice it. And then when you see it
Yeah.
from a distance, you're like, oh damn, like
What
that's a
I
that's a solid.
I guess yes, I get that, but part of me wants to argue in the sense of like you take like Mount Hood where you're from, right, and like the volcano mountains that are like the true kind of like cone volcanoes, which Iceland has a lot of those. Like that's what like
Yeah.
is forming these. Like they're massive. You know those massive cones like that. You know, like that crater to me, and like seeing the recent eruption stuff, thinking of that crater and how that's erupting you, that's at a larger scale of what's happening right now.
Oh,
But
I
still,
know.
like those mountains, you know, think of St. Helens. Like that's essentially what those mountains are,
Oh, 100%.
you know, they're not quite tectonic plates. Some of them I think are, but like for the majority, I feel a lot of them are volcanoes, and those volcanoes I think come more straight up, like straight up and out, where like tectonic plates are the plates, kind of the crust, like the Rocky Mountains or the Appalachians.
Yeah, it's more shelf-like.
Right.
You know, it looks there's a distinct look to it when it's like the true like mountain range versus
Because then
like
you get that like shooting, you know what I mean? That like of a volcano that like you get out of like basically coming right out of the ocean, like Mauna Kea, even, you know, but that's more gradual because of how massive it is in reality. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It's just the top.
yeah. It's kind of crazy that there's like three different volcanoes erupting right now because Hawaii, Iceland, and then I think in Italy there's one erupting.
I think you're right. Yeah. No, that is wild. Is that a sign? I don't know. Because they're saying this one's bigger than the June one, but I think it has something more to do with just the weather because you got it 3 years in a row this summer in Iceland. You know what I mean? Like it's not quite in the winter, like it stops, the lava stops, and then it reopens up somewhere else, like every summer, like July, August, it seems like for the past couple of years.
Yeah, I I think you're right, but I think you're wrong when you say it's the weather. I think it's more of where it is the Earth and the sun
Well,
kind
isn't
of
that
placement.
weather?
No, no, it isn't though, because that's like this like gravitational pull magnetic fields, like that.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's not like wrong logic. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
right. Yeah, no, I get what you mean. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that's what I'm thinking is like kind of like along those lines of like it has something to do, you know, it does, I mean, it does get colder there. It does get, you know, so I wonder, but like you're saying, yeah, that tilt of the earth and like because you're sitting in darkness, does the light have anything to do with
Yeah,
it? It's interesting.
yeah.
Pisses me
They
off that
the in Iceland they said there's like a new section of it.
yeah, that like that split, that like line
Yeah,
out when it like looking at it out in the fields, it makes sense. Like what we are like seeing, like the fields like that, and you're like, fuck, that would be cool. Um,
yeah.
I I'm a little upset that now Hawaii and
I'm pretty
Iceland,
sure we joked about that the this was going to happen.
and it did.
I think
It,
we've joked about it on the podcast too.
I'm sure we did because it did like it did it in Hawaii and it did it like
Yeah,
months, just a month, you know, not even months, it was freaking weeks this go around.
yeah.
Like we could have almost timed it with our trip planning. Like, oh,
Seriously.
crazy volcano, couldn't we? And then it makes you think because like we saw it steaming. Is like, does that have to do like is what you know, like
Right.
you know,
Then you hear about how many earthquakes they've been having like right before, and you're like, God damn, like
that would have been neat. Well, and then supposedly that one night we camped, remember with like Bobby and Matt and Tyler at that campground in Glacier.
Yeah.
Supposedly that night there was a earthquake in Lincoln and it shook everything at Sealy. And I'm sure they would have,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
but we were like in hammocks camping on the ground, like don't even feel
Yeah.
it. Yeah. No, but we'll get hailed on.
Yeah. So that's a different time. Different time.
Yeah, no, crazy, crazy. But this time, I mean, it was good. I mean, for like it's definitely a different feel. I like that you didn't pay for the national parks.
Yeah. I mean, you pay for the parking. So, you know,
But like
you're paying something, but it's not to get into it.
but like you compare that to like Mount Rushmore, right? You're paying like 25, $35 at Mount Rushmore, where like the parking at these parks were like $8, $10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like reasonable, like, hey, we got to keep this parking lot maintenance. I guess in America, like that's the thing. We do like to fucking jack the price up, keep jacking the price up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like, yeah, you pay for parking, but it wasn't like it's like parking in the city prices, you know.
yeah,
It was,
it wasn't
so
bad.
that was kind of, yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, you felt like you were parking when you're downtown and you're going to go to the beach. You're like, I pay for the city parking for the day. That's what
Right.
it had that feel, which is, it's nice because that allows you, fairly cheap trip. I mean, park passes aren't cheap, so
Well, and when I guess when you look at it too, like they were in the places like they were in the parking lots that saw a lot of people. Like the Seal Beach had one. The parking lot at the visitor center had one. I think both visitor centers that we went to had them.
yeah.
The
Actually, that's true too. Like, there actually weren't a lot of places that paid for parking, but
Right.
there's like a couple, but in reality, it wasn't a lot.
No, it was the places that you like that almost to help with congestion.
Yeah.
You know.
It did kind of feel like it was more to help with congestion than
Oh
to
yeah.
uh, make money on a parking lot.
Yeah, no, but really it was because if you really think about like where they were and at Seal Beach, they were working on like you could tell they're revamping that parking lot. Like it all like the gravel looked like they just kind of redid it. I mean, that could
Mhm.
also be like the fucking tides there in the winter wiping that area out. But there were places we saw them putting new money into their parks. They're actively building trails, actively doing stuff in these parks, so that was cool. And like the waterfalls and stuff all on the south side are technically considered part of that Vatnajökull national park as well.
Oh,
Like
those are? I didn't know those were
um
technically part of it.
the one with the parking was, with like that one technically was part of that park. Like that's a huge park and it's a huge glacier. That's the other thing. It's a huge giant like I guess I was crazy because it would be like we were driving for hours essentially on that road and you would just look up in the mountains and it would be new mountains every time you'd see that glacier like do its
Yeah.
big giant glacier thing, which is like in Alaska, you just see like one of those.
Yeah. That was kind of a crazy part of the drive because it was like that dark kind of gravel as we're just like kind of going over these little mini bridges, road, just ton of this gravel. It's kind of just like an uh, eerie kind of setting.
Oh yeah, and the way the fog kind of was sitting that night too.
Yeah.
I definitely like we say a month would have probably been great to have there. That way you could like give yourself a day or two in some of these locations. Because like that area alone, I think spending a day or two on that like kind of where you're saying that kind of eeriness area because there was stuff to do in that eeriness area
Mhm.
and drive.
Yeah, for sure.
I
There
want
really
to
would be.
I want to go back for sure. It's weirdly like I didn't I want to get more out of it. You know what I mean? I want to go do a whale tour in Husavik. I want to go do like a bunch of this shit. So
In need of LED lights for your vehicle? Look no further than our friends at Oxteo, keeping our vehicles well lit while on the road while looking for Bigfoot. Make sure to use code RUGARU, RUGARU, on your next set of LED lights.
Hey there, Reverend. I heard that you might be running dry on your sticker supplier.
Yeah, I've been looking around and I've kind of like run out of cool stickers to buy and put on water bottles and stuff.
Well, I mean, have you seen the stuff Josh has been coming out with lately?
No, I have not.
Well, he is doing some really cool stuff with the Shop LS 574. Yes, they're working with indigenous communities and making some really cool stickers. He has a really cool Buffalo Mountain sticker. There's even water bottles, hats, sweatshirts, the whole swag. And we even got a discount code for you guys. Yes, if you use Wandering Ways at Shop LS 574, you're going to be getting a discount on your next purchase. But not only that, you're going to be giving a percentage of that sale to the Little Shell Tribe, as well as they donate $1 of every sale to murdered and missing Indigenous women. So just such a cool thing going on there. You know, you use the code Wandering Ways, WANDERING WAYS, and you put that in there, boom, you're getting a discount.
The Wild West is full of dangers, from snakes to bears. The outdoorsman must be prepared. That is why when you experience rivers like the San Juan or the Yellowstone, you must bring a blue ribbon net. Handcrafted and biodegradable, these classic wooden fishing nets are all you need while on the river. Make sure to use code RUGARU10 when checking out at Blue Ribbon Nets. Again, the code is RUGARU10. RUGARU10.
Moving on, we got my absolute favorite of the segment. Cool shit. Cool shit in nature. I think I got one that's related to the topic today. Just because we've talked about it a lot. Talked about it today already. But this first one's just wild.
Oh, wow.
It gets even crazier. So for the people that are just listening, it's a standoff between a rhino and an elephant.
Oh,
And I mean,
and that
this elephant kind of dominates this rhino here.
pushes him down, rolls him over. The rhino's like, fuck it, get me out of here. Runs
Yeah,
away. He's done. Hell yeah, I'm about that.
I know it's kind of wild. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
he's like, I'm out of here.
I'd say go team elephant, huh?
I mean, I kind of thought that's how that was gonna go, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah, but you hear the way. No, it's hippos. That's what it is. I was thinking rhinos. Like people like hippos are fucking dangerous. Like let's see now. Now let's get a rhino or a hippo and an elephant like that because that's what we need to
Uh,
see.
Fancy say, I think in a future coming up, cool shit, there is a hippo and I think a lion, that kind of go at it. So cool shit coming up, but not today. Today, no, is volcanoes.
Too bad we weren't there. God, that would be
I
wild to see.
know.
Look at that thing. That magma is just shooting out of there.
Yeah, I picked this one because go figure this would happen to us.
It's cool though. It's cool to
It
see.
is
It's
really cool.
cool to like visualize it after being there.
I know, right?
To like see these videos and just see like the stuff going on. Like,
So here's a question I got for you. For you see, like in this video, you'll see like how far people are from the lava.
oh
Um,
yeah.
do you think it's warm for them?
Oh yeah, I bet you feel the heat. I
I
bet you.
would think so too.
I bet, but I bet it's kind of like when you go to like the hot springs at Yellowstone, and you kind of get like, especially the wind when it brings the heat off the hot springs. I bet it's a heat like that, but maybe a little more intense, like kind of like standing near an oven. You know, when you open the oven and you can feel that heat coming out. I think it's kind of more so like that.
Yeah, I think yeah. Then now that I think that's what I would guess too for that.
And that's not a national park. That's just an area.
No, it's working its way towards a national park. It keeps doing stuff like that. You'll earn national park status in no time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, it's a cool spot by the Blue Lagoon over there too.
Yeah.
Definitely a spot to go. I know Jared sent me like flights to Iceland and like they're really cheap. And I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. I want to go see that volcano.
Yeah, for real. It'd be wild. Um, Going back to the vote,
That
Vat
10 so cool.
yeah, Vatnajökull National Park. Um, I mean, this is where Diamond Beach and the glacier, the little glacier bay was. So, this one's definitely like more glacier oriented. I think that's where you can do the ice cave stuff. Uh, the boat tour in the glacier bay there, Diamond Beach, which is all the Diamond Beach Glacier Bay there was pretty legit.
Yeah, I wish we would have spent more time on Diamond Beach itself. Um, just because like we kind of checked that out first, then we're like, let's go see this glacier.
Yeah,
And we spent a lot of time at the glacier, which I like. I just wish I would have given as much to Diamond Beach, but obviously you got a budget time. When you're at these places, I could have spent a good 5, 6 hours here.
I could have too.
When
Um,
you think about like some of these places where you could really spend some time, like that in that Stugali Canyon, like I could have spent some just hours there.
yeah, Diamond Beach. I agree with you. I feel like I wish I would have spent a little bit more time at it too. But
Well, we had a lot of driving that night.
yeah, and I think with going to see the glacier, um, I think if we had done Diamond Beach second, we would have stayed there longer.
Well, yeah, but I don't think we'd have seen the glacier longer as long.
Yeah, that's the interesting. I don't know if we would have either.
I'm glad we did it vice versa because I preferred the glacier. I preferred the moment
Oh, for sure.
it was. It was a good spot. No, it really was a good spot. That whole kind of park is in a spot that again we just scratched the surface and that whole kind of area. I'm looking at my map here, that whole kind of corner area, because even the Hoffen and the Viking village, they're all kind of in that area. So you get like this like feel that you're in this like right where the mountains come off off the water. And that's definitely this park and the Peninsula Park gave those feels. That just
Yeah.
this like you're this ant.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. Like it was, yeah, it was because you really do feel like you're tiny in this area because it's
Right.
just massive rocky cliffs of mountains.
Well, you look at like Iceland on a map and then you go there, and then you see like some of the pictures there, like everyone was so shocked when I was like, they're like, how big are the mountains? And you're just like ginormous.
Yeah.
Like they're huge. And they're like, what? And you're like, yeah, yeah, like these things are, this is a volcano. This is, Earth being created.
Yeah. It's wild how like it's kind of a similar awe or similar disbelief to the eye as like when we were at the like waking up at the chalet when you go out
Right.
and it's just like bam bam bam, like that's what the Iceland felt like is when you're looking at them it's like bam, there it is, it's like this
Yeah, you're like,
massive thing right there.
is this really what I'm looking at? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, it's a really good explanation. And I didn't know underneath that glacier, that Vatnajökull glacier, there's like, I want to say it's like 17 active volcanoes, or like the majority of Iceland's active volcanoes are underneath that glacier.
Oh damn,
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Cause that's what I remember watching on the Bear Grylls show. And it was just one of those like, holy shit. And then I don't know, Iceland, like, man, I mean, there's a reason they call them the parks, but like you kept saying too, I thought is like the whole place felt like a giant park.
Yeah, that's very true. It
You
did.
know,
It felt like one massive, massive park.
well, and
Yeah.
like going to like you couldn't like going to the visitor centers. Yeah, that kind of was like unique in that sense, but not necessarily the visitor centers, but the like parking lots and like the turnoffs and like these sites all felt similar throughout the whole place. Like if you were to pull off and see a lighthouse, it felt the same way as if pulling up to a lighthouse in the national park too, or the things within the parks, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, it did, and I think that's what's different about the parks internationally compared to like the US. Like the US, you know, we even have these like invisible fences if you really think about it, because you see the sign. Now you're on national park land. So it's like this invisible fence almost. And so whereas I think internationally they're just like, yeah, this is the area and come go. Like no need to manage like these bricks or these layouts of it.
Right. Yeah, there's no need to border it off.
Yeah, it just feels like I don't know, it just feels like the national parks, they're just like, yeah, we're just not gonna build here anymore. Like that's really it.
Yeah, like we're living within the nature. We're living within it. And that was something I thought was really cool because like even the houses and stuff that we saw were just so simple. The people they did like it wasn't a overdone, you didn't have these great lodges at these parks. They had places to stay, they had those different hotels. Um and they're wonderful, don't get me wrong. A lot of them seemed wonderful just based on kind of some of the amenities they offered. But there was no like I wasn't blown away in the sense of like, oh, this is extravagant. You're in this like park. This is, what this is about. It just felt like, no, you're in this really cool part of the world. And this is how we choose to kind of like share it with you. Like, so that everyone kind of gets that same experience too within these parks. Like, it was very like hands on too. The only time negatively, I think you had somebody interact with you was when you were getting your free refill. Like,
Oh, that was on the ferry though.
I know, no, I know, but I just mean like like you could almost go off trail or like us dicking around on uh that swing shit, the like
Oh, yeah, yeah.
zip cord or whatever,
Yeah, the zip line.
zip line. Thank you. That when we were dicking around on that, like you would get yelled at by someone in America. I feel like if you were doing that or questioned, even like, well, what are you doing? What's that? Is that yours? Even if it isn't
Yeah.
somebody uh, who's around, it's like, and then not only there, but then I saw at like when we're jumping on the trampolines too, even
Hmm.
you would have had a parent come over like with that kid, when we're sitting there with the kid, like, and we're like, hey, can we jump on this before you jump on it, kid? And he's like, yeah,
Yeah,
go. You'd had a parent come over in America.
100%. You would. That's true. No, that that is the very like the biggest difference in between the parks over there and like in the US is the big lodges that a lot of the parks have here. Um,
Right. But
but
like you
I
get
think that's what makes it uniquely US. Because I mean, yeah, Canada kind of does have like the big hotels and stuff for their in their parks, or at least
I
their
haven't been to parks like otherwhere because like Kenya has the like that giraffe hotel within that one park. Like
yeah,
the other car parks around the world have different things. And I would be curious to see like Australia, because especially because that's British and like UK, where like you do get like because Iceland, they're more Nordic, right? When you look at like that region. and to me, they build within the land. They're a part of the land, those people, where like you get like the British, the German, the Spanish, the French, they would build these massive castles or these massive estates within these places. You go down to like Mexico and you see some of the Spanish like conquistador bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of cool that you didn't have that too.
No, that's very true. It made it feel like it was truly just kind of like they left the land the way it is.
Right.
It's like, yeah, we have some stuff so you can enjoy it because we should all enjoy it, but it's like we're gonna put the kiosks to collect the parking fee. Um, and that's really about it.
Well, and probably in reality, they're like, well, shit. Because I did see at some of the parking lots, they had those like counters, those like rubber things that you go across to like count how many
Yeah.
cars. And I could totally see where they're like, they probably have it down to a math where there's like, hey, we get 1,000 cars in this parking lot a day. The upkeep, because we have to get out here and get the tractor every summer and do this and do that and have a trash can and kind of have someone employed and have the electricity on and this running. It's like that's the cost, and that's kind of it. It's not like, okay, yeah, that, and what else can we profit? Oh, what else can we add or do? It's just kind of like what meets that bare minimum,
Yeah, no,
because
I agree. I agree with that.
there was no over complexities either.
No, which
So
was nice. No, all three of these parks, they're it's unique from what we're used to, but um, the three of these were unique in their own way. Um, terrain wise, and in reality, they're not that far apart.
no, no, they're not.
Which,
And it's, like you kept saying, like how we were talking about how like it felt like a Montana, an Oregon, Hawaii volcanoes all at different times of this trip, and yeah, like even like that Vatnajökull National Park, where it's like you have the glacier, but even on that other side, you had the volcano feel and the volcano
yeah,
feel and the like kind of arid desertness feel that you got out there. And then like the peninsula, you definitely had more of like a coastal feel. And then the interior felt like those like almost grasslandy plains, like Thingvellir, like and the lake and the almost more like recreation and just different in that sense. I wish I wish we would have got more time to do the Golden Circle in that area, because even when we did that one road to go hike that thermal hike to the Hot Spring River, like
yeah,
going that the wrong way road, get on that kind of
yeah.
highway, going back that way. No, but that was a really cool drive because like I think it got kind of that feeling of like what Iceland is on a, on a like that kind of feel. It was a nice day. It was a sunny day. It was just like I feel like that's the area. That's the kind of
Yeah,
what
there's
people.
this one, there's an Instagram video or picture I'll see of this area that kind of looked like that, where it had like it was very thermal. So it had
Right.
like the steam, it looked very deserty. I've seen a ton of Instagram stuff for it. That one is in that area. There's like the different colors kind of on it.
Right.
Um, it's in that area, but you have to have the big 4x4 vehicle to get, because I think it's a lot like that road that we were on, but maybe a little worse.
That road, that put a little more like put because that road didn't have potholes on it. Like
Yeah,
it was rocks coming out of the dirt road. You know what I mean? Like it was just jagged fucking volcano rocks. That's
yeah.
basically what I messed the Jeep up on with one. Like we were going over a pothole on something like that, and I just came down right on the rock.
Oh,
So you're just like, God damn it.
that sucks.
Ain't no van. No.
That van was the little engine that could, man.
Right. No, and it really honestly, I think it opened me up to like going to these places, wanting to get into one of the like not the van life, but like get a trek vehicle type vehicle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
go explore and really kind of see this world, because like you can do that everywhere. Really what we were doing is very affordable. It's just getting the money to get the upstart and do it.
Yeah, yeah, and our trip actually, realistically, in terms of Iceland trips, I think is pretty cheap.
Well, everyone's
Which we'll
surprised.
do more of on the actual breakdown of Iceland. We're not gonna jump that way yet. No, no. It's actually now time for our final words. We'll save all that other stuff next time. Now it's time for those final words. So final words, my guy.
All right, guys, coming out soon, or if you're listening to this after August 2023, I definitely want to give a shout out to A Native Podcast with Matt and Zach. If you want to listen to me and Matt chum it up, talk about native stuff. Got some good topics, got some good kind of debates coming, interviews coming forward. I definitely want you guys to give that a check out, because we want to help build an audience there. And tell your friends, if you have some people who are like, oh, I want to learn more about Native Americans, or just have those questions, you want to learn about things, shoot us to listen. Go check it out. But other than that, man, I always like talking Iceland. Those, I think, some of the photos I've had on my phone the longest, in the sense of like how I like to download them onto like a hard drive, and I haven't really done that yet with these, because they're still on my phone. I still enjoy looking at them. I'm posting on Instagram daily still, kind of the stuff. So you're kind of seeing it unfold, kind of seeing the things how we saw it. So please check that out as well. It was a fun trip, really fun trip. I'm super excited, super stoked to kind of plan the next one, and figure that out too, because these things cost, they add up, but they're fun to do, and we enjoy them. So yeah, that's about it.
I love it. I love it. Reverence, final words of wisdom. Stay beautiful, everybody. I cannot tell you how thankful I am for each and every single one of you for listening all the way through. Listen to all those others. Please like, subscribe, all that good stuff on the YouTube, Instagram, all the fun jazz social medias. We're not on Threads. Maybe we will someday get on Threads. I don't know. It's new. It's hip. It's out there. Who knows?
It's downloaded on the phone.
Oh,
Haven't.
so see, we're a step closer. We're a step closer. We may be on Threads soon. We don't know. That's out there. But ultimately, just go out, be you, and enjoy and explore the world, and good things will happen. So with that being said, peace out, everybody.
Bye.